Now therefore, I, Joseph Hoffer, Town Council member of the town of Munster, Indiana, does hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and urges all citizens to reflect on the privilege of being an American with all the rights and responsibilities with the privilege involves. Which the privilege involves.
Thank you very much. With that, we're going to start public comment. All public comment is limited to 2 minutes with a total of 20 minutes allotted for public comment section. All speakers must sign in the public speaker sign-in form prior to speaking. Please keep all comments civil, constructive, and related to public policy issues. At their discretion, council may allow public comment to extend past 20 minutes, but not required to do so. All rules for public comment are posted outside the main meeting room. And with that, let's start public comment. If I have anybody that'd like to go up there? Yes, please. And you need to state your name and address, please.
Sure. Hello, my name is Yolanda Herrera. I live at 8343 White Oak Avenue, longtime resident here in Munster. It just came to my attention recently that there is a sleeping room housing facility on Ridge Road. And I have to tell you that when I realized that that was happening here at Munster, I was taken aback because it seemed to be something of a bygone era. That being said, I have obvious concerns, which I'm sure all of you have the same concerns, because I know you're all aware of it, is safety and property values. I also understand that this came about because of a state statute, and that's how it came about. So we're not able to deny them to have this, but this is supposed to be temporary housing. So what exactly is temporary housing is question number one. Question number two is, what safeguards are we now trying to put into place that this doesn't happen again? You know, what's to prevent me or my neighbors to set up our homes in the same way and move to another town, you know, where this maybe isn't happening. And then the other thing is just the safety. Most importantly, the proximity to the high school and the middle school really, you know, concerns me. And I've driven past there, and you sometimes see guys just hanging out and smoking, and you know, appears to be drinking sometimes. It's just not a very good look for the town of Munster, and this is not something we want. So I just want to make sure that we're trying to move in the direction to prevent this from happening again and get rid of this sort of house.
Exactly.
Oh, and one other thing, is there any parameters put in place for the landlord to do any kind of background checks for these temporary housing? I mean, we just need to be diligent about who's living there.
Exactly. And it's all of our concerns. Does anybody over there could help her out with any of her questions right now, or no, or we could get back to her? Yeah, we will get back to you.
Mr. President, I do want to weigh in. We are in the process of completing the zoning rollback. We are returning to the 2019 zoning. And you stated that state law allows them to do this. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think the town of Munster does have some rights and authority in this area. Our neighbor to the north, Hamden, has been battling this for the last 25 years. And what you are referring to, and is known by me as a real estate attorney, it's a cut-up property. You take a single family home, chop it up into multiple apartments or units, and then you start renting it out. And this is something that I am going to look at very carefully. I'm going to encourage my colleagues on the council to look at it very carefully. I don't believe that you can just chop up a single family house and turn it into 9 rental units and still be in compliance with our existing zoning code. And with the new zoning code coming into place, I think that's also the case. So this is something where I do think we have the tools. What's new here and different is that it's happening in Munster. And this is something that I think our staff has to get their hands around. We have to start developing an understanding. We have to develop an understanding of how the owners feel in some measure entitled to do this. And the argument they make is, this is my property, I can do what I want. Well, no, you live in a community, you live in a neighborhood, you get benefits from that, and you've got to be a good neighbor. Being a good neighbor, in my opinion, is complying with the laws that limit the number of units you can have in a property and things like that. So I'm hopeful that my colleagues on the council will work with me so that we can address this and limit this in the same fashion that we've seen other communities like Hammond do.
I appreciate your comments. Thank you. One last comment, and before I move on, I also know that the owner of that home grew up here in Munster, and it's shocking to me that he would bring this to our, our community.
My childhood house is right down the street. Mr. Wesson, do you have anything to confirm over Mr. Peterson or?
No, other than I can tell you, your building department has been made aware of this
Yeah.
issue. Is working through it.
We're all working through it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. My name's Greg Starcevich. I live on 9501 Cottonwood Drive. And I'm here to try to get you to do more to stop the speeding through my neighborhood. Camellia Drive, we measured the speeding limit, or your speed recorders or whatever, that they're flying down through there. Now there's not much traffic because of the bridge being closed. I'm just asking you to think about putting stop signs on all the corners there. Stop signs work. Showed you that before. You could look up north, you look at Hammond. They have it everywhere. They have it around our schools. We don't have it around our schools. We should have it. As far as Camellia Drive goes, you put up one stop sign and you put up a big black speed bump. More stop signs would slow the traffic down. That's why stop signs work. The big rubber mat that you guys put out there, it slows down small cars, but them big trucks, it's a terrible noise. I live 3 blocks, 3 houses down from that, and I could hear it. And they don't slow down. Also, on Azalea, you guys have race walks. The kids have to walk, but you don't have stop signs on those walkways. I think common sense is you should put stop signs there to stop the cars so the kids can cross. That's pretty much all I could ask. Or just ask them. Do something to slow down the traffic. Stop signs are pretty cost effective. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else for public comment? Going once, going twice. Closing public comment or comments, consent agenda. I need a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Mr. Gardner, made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that
We
motion.
have a second. Do we have discussion over this? That being said, Wendy, could you call the vote?
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes,
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes, that brings us up to old business, ordinance 1989, amendment to the salary ordinance, second reading.
which was presented to you at the August 18th meeting on the first reading. It's something we've discussed before. It's an amendment to the salary ordinance that would add 2 positions. One is assistant town manager and the other is a director of communications and community relations.
With that being said, do we have a motion to,
Mr. President, I make a motion to adopt 1989 on second reading as presented.
Mr.
I'll
Gardner,
second that.
motion? We have a second. Do we have any discussion over this?
Mr. President, I'm going to weigh in on this. I am going to vote against this, and I want to explain my reasons why. Earlier in the year, state legislature passed a bill called Senate Bill 1 that resulted in real property tax savings for our community. But the flip side of that coin, it is reduced the tax revenue that the town of Munster will receive. And we have had conversations about that as recently as yesterday and last week on August 27th. And the gist of those discussions is that the loss in tax revenue will range somewhere between $800,000 and $3 million. This is the type of budgetary shock that many people in our community face from time to time. A family might have a medical bill, an incident, a heart attack, something like that, or they have an accident, they need a new car. And when you have situations like that, you tighten your belt. And this is a situation where I think the town needs to tighten its belt. And more specifically, when you talk about tightening your belt, families focus on what do they need versus what do they want. Well, what this ordinance is speaking to is an assistant town manager. There's an economic development director that was previously approved, and then a communications and community relations officer that we're going to be hiring. These three positions are going to collectively amount to a $242,000 expenditure by the town. And when you're facing a loss of revenue like what we're facing, now's the time to consider, do we need this or do we want it? Well, in my opinion, things that we need are the fire department and the police department. They address public safety issues. We need our public works department who keep our streets fixed, who make sure that the water flows when we turn on the tap, who shovel the snow and pick up the leaves. That's something we need. We need our parks department. And we need to have quality parks for our residents. This is a want. And in my opinion, this is something that we should set off and table to another time when we are in a much better budgetary position. I'm not saying that I'm opposed to this in broad strokes, but I am opposed to it right now when we are facing a budgetary shortfall. And I would urge the members of the council to set this over, tighten our belts, and deal with this when we are in a better budgetary situation.
So we all talked about this, and it's not coming out of the general fund, and that's where we're taking a hit, is the general fund. So if you want to stop this, then why don't we put a hiring freeze on all new employees coming in from today going on? What do you think about that?
Well, Mr. Schenken, I think that's a gotcha question, and I think to the point, as we discussed, because of some of the suggestions about how we're going to pull money from what is effectively the town savings account, known as the TIF account. These are monies that we can use to offset some of the costs and losses that are being discussed in the cost saving proposals that were put forward by the town manager. Again, we're in a budgetary shock situation. We need to tighten our belt. Rather than spending the money on this, we can tighten our belt to help offset some of the proposed cost cutting. And I listened very carefully at the meeting of August 27th, and to some extent, some of the things that were being put forward about reductions in benefits to staff and reductions in cost of living increases and things like that, I recoil from that. And the reason for that is we have a high quality group of employees working for us. They work for us. They deliver services now. I would rather take care of them and forego hiring 3 new people than hire those 3 new people. And then we have to put upon our current employees some of those reductions in benefits and pay that have been suggested. So again, I think we need to focus on this. There is one budget that we look at, and we are right now, the revenue is less than the proposed expenditures. $240,000 is not something you should be spending right now.
And that was already in the budget from last year. These are 2 people that left the town of Munster, and they were just changing the name from whatever Charlie's position was to economic development, which an economic developer, the ROI in that is about $800,000 a year, and bringing in new businesses into this town. I think that's what the people want to see.
Well,
Yes, Mr. Gardner.
If I could make a mention here, the $242,000 Mr. Peterson mentioned is offset by the two positions that are currently unfilled that are amount to $128,000. So the $242,000 is actually an increase of only $113,000. While that's a lot, certainly understand it. The town manager's office in the last 5 to 6 years has been tremendously understaffed. It started out, when I was employed here, we had 6 members of the town manager's staff. We have seen our communication with our residents gone down exponentially over the years. When the town manager's office operation and staffing assessment was done last year, the assessment came back. Many policies are outdated. Human resource functions are decentralized. There is no central and organized method to prepare and distribute information to the community. There is no active effort to promote economic development in this town. These are things that these 3 positions are directly related to and will directly improve the town. When we talk about economic development, that is one of the revenue potentials that this town does have. We have a TIF fund, and we will now, with the new train coming in, we'll have the Transportation Development District, and we need economic development in those districts. We cannot have a town manager staff of one professional and 1 secretarial staff operating an $80 million budget. That's way too much for 1 person to do. We need that person, and also in the 2026 goals, part of the goals is to review and update these policies. The cost of service policies that we have, the revenue policies that we have, we need to have that centralized focus. And so these 3 positions are well needed in the town, and I will be voting for this amendment, ordinance.
Any other comments before we go to votes?
Mr. President, I've got one brief response to that. What we are facing is something that we did not anticipate or expect last year. This is completely brand new. And although I would like to see all 3 of these positions filled, we don't have the money. And you spoke about an ROI. That ROI will not materialize, will not monetize for years. That's down the road. This is an immediate impact that we're dealing with. And at the meeting yesterday, the town manager committed to find concrete cost savings. I think we need to have those, and we need to have the flexibility in place to implement those cost savings without being burdened with an additional $240,000 in payroll. We may need to offset some of those cost savings by not spending this money. I think prudence suggests that we wait and see where we land on this. We're here for one purpose. We're here to spend the town's money. And right now, we're spending more money than we have. Let's be prudent and do the right thing. Let's put this off for the time being. Find out how we can balance our budget, and then we can revisit this.
It's not even has anything to do with the general fund.
I would like to mention, I don't think I'm here to spend the town's money. I'm here to make Munster a better place to live. I'm here to be cost effective. I'm here to look at opportunities and a way to make Munster a better place to live, work, and play. If that comes through spending additional money, I can see that. If it comes through cost savings, I'm for that also. I do think, again, I think these are well needed. If we are looking for our town manager to doing additional cost analysis this next year, he's got to have some type of staff that can assist him. He can't be doing economic development, cost savings, policy updating, being the HR department for this town with 1 person in that department.
I'd like to say that I appreciate the fact that we have a staff. I mean, Mr. Marino is fairly new still, but he's assessed and has identified the needs that we have to run a more efficient administration. And, you know, anything that runs in that firing on all pistons are eventually going to blow. And ultimately that just costs money. So, you know, with placing these positions or filling these positions, and things can get done more efficiently, increase communication, increase production, increase things that can look for opportunities to build on our economic growth and communication. I will say, I mean, not throwing anybody under the bus, but I was able to review a strategic plan that was submitted by a group that Mr. Peterson is co-chair or vice chair of, and in this piece, I mean, talks about economic growth and creating an economic development department, hire an employee to seek grants, develop a transparent plan for the TIF fund usage. Not gonna happen if we don't fill the position. Another, thing I identified was a communications director, resident communications, to establish a single consistent online platform, modernize, council meetings, video feeds, ensure timely uploads, and basically increase the communication with the residents. I mean, these are really brilliant things that we need. And I don't like hearing words like recoil. And to reiterate, I mean, a while ago, I remember having a conversation up here and Mr. Gardner we were talking about something, saying, you know, we don't want to just be good enough. We want to be more than enough, and we want to be, you know, 2 or 3 or 5 steps ahead. And, you know, this issue or this wrench that's getting thrown into our program, we have a staff over here that I'm very, very confident of their expertise in guiding us and navigating the ship so we don't have to worry. And things that we discussed yesterday at this meeting, that with, you know, some, you know, catch numbers or some safety net things, and just to get through the dock, that we can get back out into open sea and start making some progress. I, for one, am for it. And I think that, you know, Mr. Schinkin explained that it's not coming out of these funds that we need to worry about, that we have things covered, but we're able to, you know, shift and pace and screen so we can get things done the way we need to.
Other than that, I think we have enough on this.
I'm just gonna make a
Okay.
comment. I'm going to weigh in on this, and I do support this. We've talked about these activities taking place. We've talked about working with our developers. We've talked about communication. And we need to have, I believe we need to have these positions in order to move forward, and they will help us to weather the storm with what we think is coming or could be coming. So I'm gonna vote yes for this.
With that, I'm going to close discussion, and Wendy, could you please call the vote?
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes,
Counselor Peterson.
No,
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes. Okay, new business, ordinance 1990, the responsible bidders ordinance. You want me to go through it, or, okay. So, responsible bidders ordinance. Municipalities are required by law to award capital improvement contracts to lowest responsive and responsible bidders. State law also requires that bidders meet certain minimum requirements to be considered a responsive and responsible bidder. Instituting more comprehensive submission requirements for bidding on all town of Munster Public Works construction projects will improve our ability to comply with Indiana state law. The attached ordinance establishes these bidding requirements. I need a motion to hear ordinance 1990 on first reading as presented.
Mr. President, by motion and roll call vote, I move to hear proposed ordinance 1990 on first reading and to schedule a second reading for September 15th.
We have a motion by Mr. Peterson. We have a second.
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion over this?
Mr. President, I do want to weigh in. As many of you know, my father is a builder, and he is building condominiums in Maryville. He's been doing that for a number of years now. My father swears by what this ordinance represents. It represents quality workers. We have groups and organizations here in Lake County that have training facilities that train the next generation of laborers, carpenters, bricklayers, plumbers, electricians, etc. And that's something we can be proud of. And I see we've got a group in the audience tonight that are representatives of that. This is something that I think is a fantastic first step. I think we also should consider a project labor agreement in the future for the town. So I will be voting in favor of this because I think it is something that makes sure that when Munster puts jobs out to bid, contractors that come in and bid are bringing in workers that are skilled and capable of performing those jobs to the best standards available.
So yeah, I was approached 2 weeks ago. I thought we had something like this, and I was approached by State Rep, Mike Andrade, and I met with, Union President Mike Roach, Local 41, and explained all this to me. I go, we don't have it? They go, no. So I worked with Mr. Westland last week to get this going, and that's where we're at. I am gonna vote yes on this. Any other discussion? That being said, Wendy, please call the vote.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes, that brings us engagement letter, the water revenue bond
So we are in the midst of issuing a water bond, a $20 million water bond. Part of that process is to have the bond be rated as far as the town's credit worthiness. This will help when we go to market the bonds to help us get a better interest rate. We are looking to work with Standard & Poor's. They are one of the gold standards on this. And so we're asking for approval on the engagement letter for them to do the rating for us.
Could I have a motion for that engagement letter, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the engagement letter with S&P Global Ratings for a credit rating on the $20,090,000 Town of Munster, Indiana Waterworks Revenue Bonds, Series 2025 at a cost not to exceed $29,750.
We got a motion by Mr. Hopper. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any discussion over this? That being said.
Counselor Hopper.
Yes.
Counselor Gardner.
Yes.
Counselor Nellens.
Yes.
Counselor Peterson.
Yes.
Counselor Schinkin.
Yes. Any reports? You have anything? We have the Monarch Butterfly Fest Sunday.
Monarch Festival is this Sunday. That's sponsored by the Munster Civic Foundation. Munster Civic Foundation next Monday night will have evaluation of the summer concert series. And that's about it.
Any portfolio reports? Announcements, all town council meetings will begin at 6:30 unless otherwise noted. Our next meeting is scheduled for September 15th. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That ends this meeting. We got a 2-minute meeting. For,
School Board Representative Amy Cinder.
oh, nice.
We love John Castro, so nice to see you.
How you doing? John, we walked 5 minutes before. You stayed for that's all good.
I'm gonna wait till you're ready. Are you ready? I'd like to welcome everybody to the Redevelopment Commission regular meeting of September 4th, 2025 at 6:59 PM. Wendy, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Hopper.
Here.
Commissioner Gardner.
Present.
Commissioner Nellens.
Present.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Here.
School Board Representative Amy Cinder is joining us this evening. Nice to
Yay.
see you as we read into your banner.
So we're gonna start off with public comment. This has to do with Redevelopment Commission only. Public comment, 2 minutes maximum per person or 5 minutes for a group spokesperson. Please keep your comments civil and constructive to public policy issues. The chair at its sole discretion may recognize individuals wishing to speak on different topics at any time and be open to public session. All speakers will be timed by the clerk treasurer. This portion of the meeting shall not exceed 20 minutes. That one changed. And with that being said, opening up public comment. Going once, going twice, closing public comment, consent agenda. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion approved by Mr. Nellens. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any discussion? That being said, Wendy, please call the vote.
Commissioner Hopper.
Yes.
Commissioner Gardner.
Yes.
Commissioner Nellens.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Commissioner Schinkin.
Yes, we have no old business, no new business. Anybody have any reports? No announcements. I need a motion for an adjournment.
So moved.
I need a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
If students need a picture, you guys can come up here and we'll get a picture with you or whatever else you need.
Did the motion for the proclamation at the beginning. His sound wasn't.
They know.
Seconded.
Joe. Right? I think you did. Amy, how are you doing?
Nice to see you.
Good, good, good.
Maybe